Those are things you can do in a real industrial setting, which will improve, eventually will pay off. And then you train staff. People assume that because you've left Makerere University or Kyambogo University with a first-class degree in electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, you are already knowledgeable in efficiency management. Many people are not. Unfortunately, I have a professor friend, he's actually in law here. He wrote a book about things they don't teach at the university. Efficiency things are some of the things they don't teach at the university. And I say this with good authority. I used to teach here, and I used to teach before that I was at the University of Nairobi. Those are things we don't teach. We teach how machines move or how machines do things. Then you must measure in industry. You've got to measure, monitor, and record energy performance information. Otherwise, when these people come or when other people come to assess you, they have no record at all, they have no knowledge where you have the bigger problems which need to be addressed. Then you impose incentives and rewards as well as penalties. In the energy here, I know that when I was at the regulator, as a regulator, we allowed UMEME to penalize industries that were that had low power factors, that's one, but also the others who are consuming a lot of reactive power. All these are inefficient things, consuming and imposing costs to you. Now, what else is there? What I'm talking about are things an industry can do, large industries can do, because they have the money, they have the capacity. Smaller industries may not have the capacity. So we go for the experts. But before you go for the experts, fortunately we have a standard, an international standard, ISO 5001 at the end. That what be certified on that one, there are benefits you get from regulators from all over the place. But the shareholders get even better benefits if you are ISO 5001 certified, because you are more efficient, you save money in terms of energy and so on. But what does this involve? You must have a clear energy policy in the facility, must carry out energy planning and reviews of the objectives and opportunities for improvements continually. That's a requirement of being certified. You put in place an energy management system for continual improvement, and that is a requirement, otherwise they will not certify you. Must have energy performance indicators clearly defined and monitored, and must have a well-documented energy management system. If it's not well documented, they take away their certificate, and when they take away their certificates, people from banks and others who thought you are effective, then don't look at you like that, they look at you as a risky place. The banks may have a leeway, the Ugandan banks, of giving you maybe 0.5% and so on your financial requirements. But things like this ISO being certified help you to get the lower rather than the higher version of that. And when I say call in the experts, call in the, I don't know whether in the morning and I came late, I apologize, Mr. Chairman. But the energy services companies which he represents are normally good, knowledgeable people who know what to look for, mainly because they make money out of it, but also they make you make money out of it. There is evidence that these things, and we did a paper at Open Capital, that's where I spend some of my time. At Open Capital, we did a paper in 2022, which proved that while, although it's focused on agriculture, agribusiness, how can you help the Igaras of this world and so on to be energy efficient? It showed that ESCOs can play a significant role in industry energy efficiency improvements. Our paper, with the work we did, and it was financed, I think, by GIZ, showed that if you deployed these across some of the energy consuming companies of this country, you could easily save $160 million between now and 2030. Now, that's not small money. That's the money the shareholders would like, and that's some of the money these people work for. What are their key roles, in my opinion? They do energy audits much more effectively. We can always, I know Makerere does some energy audits, Chambogo does, Busitema does actually as well, but also Ministry of Energy does, and so on. But these people are dedicated to do some of those things. They know what to look for, they know how to advise you. Then the financing arrangements he mentioned, they can look for financiers for your operation and improve things in your industry. And they help with equipment procurement. Equipment procurement in Uganda is a problem. We buy from the cheapest, not necessarily the most effective. And it becomes very expensive over the time. These guys, if they are genuine, they help you to know if you are designing a new project or you are designing a replacement, what should be replaced. Then the other thing, the monitoring of the operations. They are very good at that. And last short, when I was at Uganda Craze, each morning, if you run an industry, you wake up and pray that the machines will work and work efficiently. Because if they don't and you are the MD, it's your bonus that you will suffer first. The body will say, energy this, and they track. Wise companies track. Uganda Craze was tracking 20-something years ago. How is our energy? Because it's very energy intensive. I thank you very much.
Oh, great. Thank you, Doctor. That was really good. It's good that I started with you. And you mentioned a critical point. It all starts with an energy audit, because you cannot improve what you have not monitored, and you cannot monitor what you have not measured. Now with that, I will now go to Alan, who runs a company that actually sells measurement equipment and also supports other organizations in energy audit. So, Alan, please share with us why energy efficiency monitoring is important in the industry. And also take some time, tell us what you're offering in the sector in terms of measurement equipment is. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob, and the introduction. Alan Msiguzi is my name, as Jacob has said. I run a company called Energy Monitoring Limited. So the acronym is EML. And our value proposition into the market is ideally to measure, control, save energy so that our clients are profitable and sustainable. We have 3 business segments under Energy Monitoring Limited, and the first is test and measurement. Here we basically provide test and measurement tools and instrumentation. We do represent a couple of global companies in supplying some of these technologies. The other segment is around condition monitoring services, and here we have an online platform where we onboard our clients to help them monitor their energy use wherever they are. And of course, our last part of our business is energy efficiency solutions, solutions that save energy. So in a nutshell, that's what EML does. We've been around for about 10 years, and we also have a subsidiary in Kenya. So we're trying to be able to contribute to this particular space. Actually, in Uganda, not many companies are actually in this space because by nature of how expensive it is. So as Jacob said, how critical is energy monitoring in improving energy efficiency? Energy monitoring ideally provides measurement data, critical insights, and analytics of energy use patterns by an organization. And with that, the organization can be able to manage its energy use and as well optimize it. Now, let's look at test and measurement. Energy monitoring, ideally, one of the main things it does is to identify inefficiencies. Inefficiencies in an organization, especially industrial organizations. And here, what we're talking about, where would you find energy waste? If we look at electrical energy, for example, how does energy waste manifest itself? Ideally, you will see energy waste manifest in terms of, one, high power bills, maybe because the people in there are not utilizing energy very well. The second probably could be power distortions. You are in an industry and probably breakers go off. You have intermittent lighting. Lights are going off, like some of these fluorescent tubes you see are not lighting. Those are power distortions. Then you'll also probably see heating, happening. But some of these things are inherent. You can't see them. And at the end of the day, if you can't see, you cannot know what to do. So this is where test and measurement comes in place. So in regards to power, say for example, we have power quality analyzers. That's one of the technologies that we have, which ideally will look at certain things that are inherent in the power qualities. Say, for example, power factor, and Doctor has already alluded to it. You can only know that you have bad power factor if you do measure. The other that is actually now coming in the area that we're seeing quite a lot of harmonics. I don't know if you understand harmonics from the electrical people. And because most people are actually changing, say, for example, lights, the fluorescent lights and the incandescent lights to LED. And LED are switching loads, okay? So they are actually introducing harmonics in the system. And we have got to see in industries where, in actual sense, harmonics is becoming more prominent. And even those who actually had installed power factor banks, their banks are failing. Why? Because there's a lot of introduction of switching loads, variable speed drives, automation equipment, computers, LED. There's quite a lot that is entering in there. And at the end of the day, if you cannot measure this, you will not see these inefficiencies. Also in industries, for example, we have, if you're in a production line, if you see noise happening, if you probably see vibration taking place on equipments, machinery, that is a manifestation of wastage. And if you cannot measure it, say for example, we offer vibration analyzers, both screening tools and diagnostic vibration testers, to be able to identify where is this coming from. And you cannot do some of these specialties unless you do these measurements. Let's also go to probably thermal energy. For example, most of these industries are powered by very expensive utility called compressed air. Now, compressed air is most expensive. And in most cases, if you look at these food and beverage companies that are producing water, like these PET bottles, they have to be blown by blowers and HP compressors. You'll go there, you'll find like 30% of their energy use is ideally being used by air compressors. And when you go in there, you cannot identify energy waste unless you have some equipment. Now, because it's a flow process, we have technologies that are actually coming up, and we have what we call acoustic images, where in actual sense you can visualize a leak, meaning that you have this particular equipment and you just scan and it will ideally show you where the leak is in the facility. And so these things are ideally areas which you need to invest in to be in a position to identify all these inefficiencies. So it's very important, as I mentioned, that energy monitoring is part and parcel of energy management. And if you do not have this in place, I don't think there's much you're going to achieve. So the other thing is ideally around goal setting. We've seen that most people are setting energy efficiency goals, but where do they get the data from? All right. So you have to have baselines created in the facility. And in that facility, you have to have some monitoring to be able to create those baselines. I do know very well that under the energy management system, the ISO 50001, you follow the plan, do, check, act cycle. And in the check, there has to be monitoring. So monitoring is really part and parcel of energy management. And once you don't have that, it's a bit of a challenge. The other probably I would talk about is informed decision making. One, we've been talking about energy audits. Energy efficiency cannot survive unless people do energy audits. Even Dr. Sebo has talked about that. And in energy audits, you cannot bring out information unless you have data. So in there, we have to do quite a lot of measurements, right from electrical, thermal, mechanical, even visualization of some of these things. But we have to have that data. And it is that data that is going to inform even the finance people, because we have to create what we call return on investment in these particular upgrades we're going to do. If you're going to do probably an LED retrofit system, or are you going to introduce a solar hybrid system into the factory or your building, you have to have some bit of data to justify the investment. So I believe that measurement can be able to be part and parcel of this particular process. Also, Dr. Seboa mentioned about him waking up and making sure that he goes to the factory and it is working. Yes, we've seen that energy monitoring contributes to plant maintenance. Okay, if you're not monitoring equipments, you will not know when they will fail. It is until you do monitoring that you actually get to understand the condition that this equipment is about to fail. So we have technologies, and as I mentioned earlier on, part of our business is condition monitoring services, where we actually can be able to bring the equipment onto our online platform, and you can be able to continuously monitor how it's operating. So that is also part of our services that we offer. Last but not least, I think energy monitoring is also very critical in the sense that it facilitates compliance. Okay, I believe auditors, when they come, they need to see data. If you say that energy, I'm compliant to say ISO 50001 as an industry, what shows? This is data they need to see. So if you don't have a monitoring system in place, I believe you will not be able to justify that you're actually compliant. So with that, I believe energy monitoring is part and parcel of energy efficiency, and thus it improves performance.
Wow, what a rich panel. Many thanks, Alan. You've had data, because that's only how we can strengthen the business case for energy efficiency, for financial institutions to get attracted to investing in energy efficiency. As again, Dr. Seboa mentioned, the energy service companies tend to address two critical issues within the energy efficiency deployment. One of it is financing. The second one is skills, through the audits, through the maintenance and operations. So Ikanas, from a market facilitator's angle, could you share with us some of the lessons you've learned in deploying some of the energy service company models in promoting energy efficient technologies in Uganda?
Yeah, thank you, Jacob. I think it's a very critical question. Before even ESCO, if we talk about ESCO, is very the big things we are talking about. We need to understand the contracting model. There are three contracting models, and there are different model, like lease to own model, where like the company arranges everything. They arrange financing and they do all this necessary installation, everything, and they also manage the facilities. But again, the direct purchase, where the owner is responsible to manage financing, and then the company is responsible to installation and do other things. But the tripartite agreement is more of third-party financing involved. So without understanding this model is very critical. But in for Uganda case, actually Sawa Energy and GRIP, they apply lease to own model, both the Samunga and then the GRIP. The Buyezu, and Buyezu also the two model actually we under the EMU support, Buyeju and Igara also they have done their own financing, but we have done this finance like co-financing to both company. And if I see the model like the why this the additional financing or risk capital is needed or the catalytic fund is needed to reduce the risks of financing. Like for example, if I compare with the Buyeju 2 model, where we co-finance, we provided all the auditing support, energy audit support, everything. And if you compare the cost, actually Buyeju is paying around 2,000 per month. And the cost, I think the Grip Energy is here. They can share the story after that. But where we did not finance, we did not subsidize, or we did not provide like TA support, they are paying about 5,000. That's what I can see, that the financing gap. So it means that to make the EXO model more successful, and we needed some catalytic grant. That's what we are learning from the Uganda 2 model. And it also reduced the cost of burden to the company. Then it also encouraged to go to the EXCO model. This is a long-term arrangement. It's like if you see in the Samunga, it is 15 years arrangement. It is a long-term arrangement involved from the both company and the financing side. So they needed kind of the extra incentive to go into that model. But otherwise, it's very difficult to make a decision. Even during the engagement process with the EMU project, it's a very hard process. Like we funded an energy audit to identify the energy need. Then after that, it took long time to finalize processes. Means to promote ESCO model, we really need like, based on the lesson, what we learned from EMU project, we need incentive grant or catalytic grant. At the same time, we need rigorous TA support. Like how much TA support we provided both company to establish the ESCO model. Even the energy audit is very critical. Already it mentioned in the previous speaker, energy audit is very critical. That help company to identify what exactly investment needed and what need to be done in the ESCO. Then again, company also should be aware about what kind of ESCO model they have to adopt. Already I mentioned 3 model. Like then what kind of model they have to adopt? Is a list to one model is appropriate for them, or direct purchase model? If they have financing capacity is there, they have all the capacity to finance, they can go for that, or they need third-party financing. Is a huge financing needed. Third-party financing is banks, commercial banks involved. Then maybe our impact investor, or or we need to leverage resources like DFIs also. So we really work out in the model. Like banks also, when I discuss number of matchmaking model, ESCO model is very interesting for us, we want to finance. But understanding is which model they wanted to go, and then the financing need, what is ESCO model, this understanding level is very low. So really we need to aware, I think we need to have a very strategic discussion with the ESCO model in the country. If really wanted to go in the ESCO model is to go for energy efficiency. If I recall like some of the experiences where I work in Thailand, and Thailand has a special vehicles on the ESCO models. Maybe we can learn from there. Then maybe the Ukraine, recently UNDP did the study and they established kind of the energy ESCO fund, UNDP and the Business Development Fund. And actually already more than 650 ESCO has been shortlisted. And is $1 billion investment is going there in the ESCO model. Maybe as a Uganda, we can learn from that model how we can establish ESCO model from the Ukraine experience. It's just recently established. And in Myanmar also, I can see, I think you might have heard about the smart energy initiative. Is established by Rockefeller Foundation and the private company, something holding there, like is a Chinese company involved, then the government itself. And they have established this smart power initiative. Now they have done more than 100 of kind of the mini grid and more targeting into the productive use of energy, like fishing industry, vegetable drying. A lot of initiative is ongoing. That it means that based on the lesson what we learned from Uganda and based on the lesson from other countries, really we need to understand this model, and then we need to have also financing arrangement very well. It is kind of a developing financing or commercial bank, how they can come in, or even the ESCO company, how they can build the capacity on financing. So this is what I can mention right now. Yeah, thank you, Jacob.
Oh, great, Ikanas. So more incentives to try grow and see this model make the sector much more viable. From a regional perspective, Engineer Dennis Areho, as you're from the East African Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, could you share with us some of the approaches that we could actually deploy to boost the market for energy efficiency, both at a policy level, but also at a market level, considering both the supply and the demand side?
Yeah, thank you, Jacob. Energy equipment contribute a lot to the operation of the commercial and industrial facilities. Without energy equipment, they cannot operate. For example, if we are to look at these equipment that are used in the commercial and industrial space, one is electric motors. Now, when you look at the global scale, electric motors they consume about 50% of the global electricity consumption. So meaning any energy efficiency interventions that you apply in the motor area contributes significantly to reduction on energy savings and also in improving the economies of Uganda and other countries. Another one is lighting. These lamps, luminaires. If you look at the residential sector, 15% of the global electricity consumption is from lighting, residential lighting. Then you also go into lighting in the commercial buildings, which contribute about 25%. There are other equipment that also consume a lot of energy. Refrigerators, air conditioners, chillers. Then when you go on the thermal side, then we have the boiler and steam systems. They consume a lot of thermal energy. So if we were to address the issue of energy efficiency in equipment, then we have to look for approaches on how we can increase the deployment of energy efficient equipment in the commercial and industrial space. So one of the interventions is having a robust energy efficiency policy. For example, as a country, do we have a robust energy efficiency policy? I understand now we have the energy policy of 2023. On the ESC level, the project I work with, it is called the Energy Efficient Lighting and Appliances Project in East and Southern Africa. It's called ELA project. It's funded by the government of Sweden through SIDA, implemented by United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, then the East African Center of Excellence for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, YACRI, and the SADC Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. We are supporting the development of the ESC energy efficiency policy, and this policy we have a draft policy. It has undergone national consultations and regional harmonization, and soon, early next year, we hope to have a harmonized policy on energy efficiency in the entire East African region. Another approach is on having minimum energy performance standards. Not having them on paper, but implementing them. The challenge we have in our country, we have had minimum energy performance standards for more than 10 years here. But if you look at implementation, we have not implemented well. So, but we are also working on harmonizing the maps across the ESC level. So at the moment, we have supported the development of the ESC minimum energy performance standards for lighting. So as I speak now, as of July 2022, the entire East African community has one standard for lighting. And basically they are categorized in two standards. One is for lamps, another one is for luminaires. And already Uganda has already adopted those maps. So what happens once any regulation is approved at ESC level, it's mandatory to be adopted by each East African partner state within 6 months. We are also working on the regional maps for cooling appliances. These are the residential refrigerators and room air conditioners. The draft maps are in place. We have done regional consultations, national consultations, and hope for before the year ends, we hope these to be adopted by the East African community. But having these standards is not enough, as I've said. We need to implement them. And normally, MEPs are the beginning because they're talking of the minimum. Now, we need to also to go to the next stage, which is energy labels. This is whereby now, because the minimum energy performance standards help you to eliminate the inefficient products from the market. But then we have to be ambitious. So there are classes, class G, class D, up to class A. Each of them have energy efficiency classes. So the project is also supporting the development of the ESC energy efficiency label. And this label is focusing on lighting, because now we have a harmonized standard for lighting across the entire region, residential refrigerators, room air conditioners, and then for any other new energy products that will be having regional maps, maybe motors and others. So the label development is ongoing. Countries are very interested, and Uganda is also much interested in ensuring that we have the ESC energy label, which will be adopted also by the country. In supporting another approach, on especially focusing on enforcement of standards and labels, we need a compliance framework. A compliance framework that guides the different institutions, government, private sector, to implement MEPs and labels and any other energy efficiency policies. So we have a regional compliance framework that guides on what the regional economic community, for example, EAC or SADC, needed to do, what countries needed to do to ensure that the MEPs, labels, and any other energy efficiency policies are implemented. In the compliance framework, it includes what we call the product registration system. When you look at, for example, Uganda Revenue Authority, when these energy products are coming, most of the time they tend to look at a few parameters. They look at what is the product and maybe the tax. But developed countries have a product registration system, each country, whereby when a product comes, an energy product comes, first of all, it needs to be tested to see whether it is energy efficient. And then it has to be registered. So the different parameters have to be registered. So that a product that enters the country or manufactured in the country is energy efficient. So we are promoting having a regional product registration system, but working with the national product registration systems. Our neighbor country, Rwanda, already has a product registration system, which I think we can borrow from them, implement here, and also see that how other countries in our East African community can implement. The next approach is testing infrastructure for energy equipment. You need energy audit equipment, but also you need equipment that you deploy maybe in Uganda National Bureau of Standards to test equipment that come in the country. The ERA project procured portable lighting test equipment for 21 countries in ESA and SADC regions. For Uganda's case, the equipment was handed over to the Ministry of Energy, which also handed it over to Uganda National Bureau of Standards. And also there is another equipment, a state-of-art lighting testing equipment called goniometer, which is also being installed. Actually, there is already installed infrastructure in the Uganda National Bureau of Standards. It is becoming the regional reference testing facility. It was selected through competitive selection. So at the moment we have done civil works and mechanical works at UNBS. This state-of-art equipment arrived in Uganda this week. Hopefully soon it will be, maybe by next week it will be at UNBS. So you'll be invited for commissioning of this equipment. So other countries will be coming to be able to test their lights, their lamps, their tubes, and other lighting technologies. To summarize, another approach that is important is, of course, having affordable financing and business models for energy efficiency, especially like the ESCO model, which Ekanath has talked about. And still also the project we have also supported the ESCO model through partial grant of 75% to 8 energy service companies. Another area on how we can boost the access to energy efficient equipment is awareness and capacity building. So we need to develop capacity of all stakeholders in the energy efficiency value chain. Government, private sector, NGOs, financing institutions, and so on. And lastly, we need to strengthen the ecosystem for energy efficiency. We need to have better coordination among the key players in the energy efficiency space. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Engineer Riho. So minimum energy performance standards and appliance labeling as key frameworks that we could actually deploy out there and start to address the quality issues, but also much more of a deep awareness for the customer who is purchasing the energy efficient technologies. I'll give just a few minutes because you already presented to GRIPS to just shed a light into our audience. What is the potential and what are the opportunities for the ESCO model in Uganda?
Thanks, Jacob. Good afternoon once again. I would say as an ESCO, before we implement a project, people have talked about energy audits. We carry out quite intense energy measurements as well on the sites just before we implement the system. So if I'm to talk about the potential is huge for companies here, because I've been addressing quite a number of companies from different segments and different sectors. You may find they have challenges with their seasonality, with how they operate. You may find that they have a 1 hour lunch break, and then in the evening they work beyond normal working hours, which could be changed to make sure that they make the most use of their system. So we normally carry out measurements, carry out an audit, and give you a comprehensive report before you implement the system to show you how best you can use the energy system that we shall have provided. Then the other thing they talked about was equipment. We also incorporate equipment financing on our end. So just to help offset some challenges that you might have. We have companies that have been looking out for stabilizers to be added onto their energy system. And then we look at that, we assess whether it actually makes sense for you to have stabilizers and include them there. And then the other bit they talked about was performance and monitoring. We are very keen on that. Even as the system is installed, we continuously monitor the performance to ensure it's providing to the given or agreed standard. And in case of any issue, in case of any hiccup, we are there. And we continuously improve the systems as well. So there's a huge potential for a variety of industries in different segments within Uganda to undertake this. And I think one of the biggest challenges has been the financing that everyone has talked about. And the other bit was the lack of skilled developers or lack of people who have the knowledge. So we bring a wealth of expertise within our team as GRIPS, as an ESCO, that come and assess your current energy needs, come and assess your current operational schedule, and provide you an energy efficient system that will see you have some considerable savings on your current energy bills. So that is one of the main driving factor for most of the industries that are undertaking our system. Thank you.
Wow, lots of experiences from these rich panelists. And because of time, I may now not give you any chance. But what I see is we are all saying if you have the right information, and that information could be from your energy audits, could be from your measurements that you already measure through your facilities. If you have the right regulations in place, if you have the right skills in place, and then if you have the right incentives in place, then should be a takeoff for any commercial facility or industry. Again, many thanks, and the panelists are available up to late, so feel free to engage each of them because we do not have enough time, but they have a lot to share with you. Otherwise, on my part, thank you very much, panelists. I will now hand to David. David, do you want to give a photo moment for them too? Okay.
Once again, I want to thank you for holding on. And I think now I'm reading from the last page of today. And we are going to have the very last panel session, which is going to be convened by one of the experienced experts within the energy efficiency sector. He's not as old, but he has vast knowledge in energy efficiency. Mr. Yunus Alokore, he works with the East African Center of Excellence for Renewable Energy and Efficiency. He's a technical expert. He will be chairing the very last session. They are going to be talking about professional and skills development for energy efficiency and mobility. And he has a very experienced panel. The challenge is that they are teachers. And teachers like talking a lot. But I will encourage them to be brief and concise. Yunus?
Good evening. Do we still slap the microphone or we blow into it? What do you people do from where you come from? Okay. Okay, thank you. My name is Yunus, as mentioned by Engineer David already. I welcome you to this panel session. It is starting when it should have ended, right? Yeah, but you cannot be late 2 times. You can only be late once. So thank you for the patience. I'm going to start briefly by talking about professional and skills development in energy efficiency and mobility. So a lot of time has been spent this morning already to talk about what energy efficiency is. I will not go into that. And also what mobility is. But I want to mention some major documents in Uganda and some targets which have been set there and how it ties up with this session. One of them is the energy policy of Uganda, which was launched in 2023. And in that policy, they set some targets. And one of the targets is a parameter we call energy intensity. It shows how much energy you use to produce $1 in your country. That shows the overall efficiency of the country. Uganda has set a target to reduce that number from over 9 megajoules per US dollar in 2017 to around 3-point-something megajoules. So this is over 60% reduction. This will go into all the sectors. That means there must be a lot of jobs coming in the industrial sector, commercial sectors, agriculture, transport, and anything you can think about. But are we ready for these jobs? What professional and skills development initiatives do you need? That's the discussion we're going to have now. You saw the very ambitious targets in the strategy for electric mobility. We want to be a net source of e-vehicles and components. We want to put a certain number of charging stations. We want to manufacture batteries. Who are going to do these jobs? Who will maintain the the charging stations. So I want to invite the panelists to address these questions. My first panelist is Engineer Nelson Mukwaya. He's an electrical and energy consultant with MSALT. And today he will be representing the Energy Efficiency Association of Uganda, where he's the vice president of the association. Welcome, Engineer Nelson. Engineer Nelson has a lot of other qualifications there, which I will not talk about, but let me briefly mention the ones which are related to energy efficiency. The first one, he's a certified energy auditor. He is also a certified industrial energy professional. He's a certified measurement and verification professional. And that means he's the very right person from whom you'll get a lot of knowledge today. Yeah. So the second panelist I would like to invite is Dr. Brenda Akanguni. Dr. Brenda, lecturer at Makerere University Business School. And she's also a secretary general for the Energy Efficiency Association of Uganda. She's very passionate about the topic of energy efficiency and sustainable mobility. Let's welcome Dr. Brenda. I'm trying to balance one lady after a gentleman, but if it doesn't come out, we will define other things in the middle. Yeah. So the third panelist is Jakob Hornbach. Jakob is the CEO and co-founder of Gogo Electric. Oh, you're most welcome. Many of you might have used bikes from Gogo Electric before, whether knowingly or unknowingly, but this is the gentleman behind it, and today he's going to talk a lot about skilling and professional development for electric mobility. On the market, they have over 1,500 plus EVs. I think I'll cut it there, but there are a lot of other good characteristics about the motorbikes from Gogo. The fourth panelist I would like to invite is Engineer Henry Mpuga. Engineer Henry Mpuga is a mechanical engineer, and he also holds a master's in management science. Today, he will be representing the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers. And at that institution, he serves as the vice president for membership, education, and training. Engineer, you're most welcome. The fifth panelist I would like to invite is Mr. Alvin Araka. Mr. Alvin Araka works with the CRIC, which is also based here in Sedat, somewhere down here. And at CRIC, Alvin is a project manager. He's a certified industrial energy professional, which is one of the short courses I think we want to also talk about. And Alvin, in his very initial times when he's starting his career, he was working here at Sedat, and he oversaw one of the first energy efficiency and access competitions at the college. Let's welcome Alvin. I've been moving my eyes around for one last panelist whom I've not seen until now. And I did not get any communication on whether she canceled her engagement or not. And that is Dr. Dorothy. Okay. But if not, I think we can go straight into the discussions. So I want to start with our private sector colleague here. That is Engineer Nelson, who is the Vice President of the Energy Efficiency Association of Uganda. So I want to find out from you what initiatives and certification programs have been implemented by the Energy Efficiency Association of Uganda, and what role do such certifications play in equipping the workforce with the necessary skills for energy efficiency and sustainable mobility. Thank you.
Thank you, Eunice. Greetings, everyone. The Energy Efficiency Association of Uganda was started in 2013. We've been here for about 14 years. about 11 years. Then along the way, we started basically it's an association that brings together practitioners of the energy sector, energy efficiency and sustainability. The membership is supported through capacity building. We arrange trainings, we arrange also interactions with industry, with producers of equipment and so on, who share with us knowledge about energy efficiency in equipment and so on. The association also happens to be the Ugandan chapter of the Association of Energy Engineers, an international body that churns out training of energy efficiency, of energy practitioners. And in there, being the chapter, we have also carried out trainings of certifications. The Association of Energy Engineers runs certifications. Those certifications are many. There are more than 20. But I'll speak about some of the most common, some of the ones that are most practical and most applicable in our environment of Uganda. One of the most leading ones is the Certified Energy Manager. This is the practitioners of this basically are experts in developing energy management systems of facilities, of industries, and so on. These are normally the leaders of, they could be team leaders in initiatives and development of energy management systems of such facilities and industries. And next we have the certified energy auditors. These ones also carry out assessment of the energy use of facilities and industries. They come up with measures of improving efficiency, and basically they can oversee projects. Certified industrial energy professionals, this is quite new. In fact, I think the first training was done in Uganda about 2 years ago, globally, or Uganda could have been the second. These ones are specializing in industrial energy use. So they come up with measures that promote maximum utilization of industrial equipment at minimum energy use. We have certified measurement and verification professionals. These ones are skilled in measuring the impact of energy efficiency measures brought into facilities, existing facilities. So they will be able to determine whether the measures are performing as intended, are creating the impact that was envisaged. We have certified renewable energy professionals. These ones, as you can hear, they are skilled and competent in renewable energy initiatives, introducing them into facilities. We have the certified water efficiency professionals. These are energy efficiency professionals that are specializing in water use, efficient water use. We have business energy professionals. These ones, they basically look at the operations of businesses. They are able to introduce efficiency measures in businesses so that they create the impact that business owners would want to see, such as reduced expenditure. They would be able to tell how this will affect profitability of organizations, how it will impact and improve productivity of employees. So that is their field. We have the ISO standard 50001. It has several professionals around there. We have the certified professionals, that is 50,001 certified professionals. We have the certified professionals in energy management systems for the same standard. And then we have lead auditors for the same standard. All these are skilled and competent in implementing the measures of the standard ISO 50001. We have carbon audit professionals. These ones are skilled and competent in measuring carbon emissions, in designing and implementing measures that are going to reduce carbon emissions. We have certified green building engineers. These ones are competent in designing green buildings. The list is long. As I said, there are more than 20, and basically the ones I've mentioned are the ones that we could relate with easily. Eunice, I don't know if I've answered the question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You answered it very well. In the morning, we all remember that the gentleman from Kira EV mentioned that whenever they receive students, the students are not ready to do the job, right? These are the additions you have to make to become ready for the job. And we also had the same from Dr. Frank. So these certifications, which have been covered by Engineer Nelson, are some of the areas you have to add to improve your CV or to be ready for the profession. So thank you, Engineer Nelson. And now let me come to Mr. Alvin, right next to me here. So Alvin, you work at CREEC, which is the Center for Research in Energy and Energy Conservation. What role does such a center have to play in developing and delivering high quality certified training programs? That is one. Two, it's common that these programs are dominated by men. What initiatives and steps do you take at CREEC to ensure that everyone is on board? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yunus. I greet you all this afternoon. Like you heard, I'm called Alvin Araka from the Center for Research in Energy and Energy Conservation. CREEC has been here for 23 years now. It was started in 2001. And the mission of CREEC is simply to enhance access to modern types of energy. And by modern types of energy, we simply mean what we are really talking about today, which is sustainable energy. And we do this through applied research, testing, skilling, and also advisory. So it's really a wide range of services that we offer, but all of them are geared towards energy sustainability. And we have seen quite some achievements through the things we do. For instance, from our testing side, we've been able to test more than 500 different types of products, which informs very richly the sector in terms of what are the right products to use for renewable energy. When it comes to training, so far we've trained more than, actually close to 2,000 participants in the area of renewable energy, and now also focusing more on energy efficiency. And also when it comes to also in energy efficiency from the projects that we've done, we've been able to save or work with companies to save more than 10 MVAs for those ones who understand those terms. So we are proud to be able to mention such achievements. And now on the question that I've been asked, or on the topic of today, which is on skilling, for me, there are two keywords that I pick from the question. That is high quality training programs, and then a sustainable workforce. So when it comes to high quality, at Creek, we take quality seriously, and I think it really matters the people that we work with and the programs that we offer. So first of all, we are now recognized by the Ministry of Energy, that is Directorate of Industrial Training, as a center that recognized as a training center. So that means that people who come and train with us for the different courses that we offer them can actually be able to take the certificate anywhere nationally, and will be able to compete for a job given that certificate that they get. We are also ISO 17025 recognized by the Uganda National Bureau of Standards for testing and management of our organization, and this is also key given the kind of clients that we work with. And now also when it comes to training, we take certified trainings very seriously, and just like you heard from Nelson, we have partnered, actually, we are partnered with the Energy Efficiency Association of Uganda to be able to also provide the courses that you've just had. Last year, I think it was in June, we proudly launched now what we call the Creek Academy. Creek Academy now focuses mainly on providing these trainings. And as Creek Academy, we again, like I said, we are partnering with association of, with what we call Institute of Energy Professional Engineers. This body is the one that is actually responsible for creating access for these certified courses through the Energy Efficiency Association of Uganda. And they are rich. And the good thing about these courses, for those of you here who have done them, and even if you have not done them, is that when you get this certificate, you are not limited within Uganda. You can work actually anywhere in the world with these certifications. So it matters when, it matters what you're offering. And for Creek or Creek Academy, we've purposed that we should offer something that has a high value for the person who is taking that course. And the other question also, the other key thing is about having a sustainable workforce. For Creek Academy, when you train with us, the training doesn't just end at the point of graduation or when you receive your certificate. We go ahead to track where you are, what you're doing, and we have a network where you can come back and we link you with different industry partners who are providing services that you are interested in or you have trained for. We call this hand-holding. We want to continue working with the person who has been trained so that whatever you've received, whatever knowledge and skills you've received are sustainable for you, because we know one of the gaps that we have maybe in the sector or in the country, there are many people who have been trained, but then bridging the gap between receiving skill and applying the skill or having a placement to apply the skill is still there. And that's one way that we are addressing that gap. Interestingly, Eunice has also asked me about the low number of ladies when it comes to these courses. Actually, what we have realized, unfortunately, I have to say, even when these courses, when they are subsidized or even sometimes they are offered for free, you will always get a very high percentage of gentlemen applying for these courses or coming for them than ladies. First of all, I think it's a mindset issue. it's unfortunate that even in this day and age, we still look at certain professions as more male-oriented than female-oriented. Well, of course, you cannot, it goes, you can see it, the majority usually are men. But I think we really have to change our mindset, both from the people who offer these courses, that's number one. Number two, employers. And also number three, I would also like to challenge the ladies themselves. I would like to challenge you that if you really believe you can participate or you can practice in an engineering world or energy profession, please come. And as Quick Academy, actually, we've taken steps to offer incentives for ladies when they are applying. Usually, there is a lower pay for ladies so that at least they can be encouraged to come and do these courses. So there is a lot being done in that area. That is what I can say for now. And maybe we can have more interaction after this panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Alvin, for answering those two questions very well. You can give him another round of applause. So the ladies in the room, you have heard their incentives from CRIC, and we also heard about the good collaboration between CRIC and EEAU in bringing high quality short courses in the area of energy efficiency. This program covers both energy efficiency and mobility. So far, we have talked 2 times on energy efficiency. Now let's come to Jacob, the CEO of Gogo Electric. Yeah, so we all know that Gogo Electric is a leader when it comes to sustainable mobility in Uganda. At least for skilling, we know there's a lot of work you're doing in skilling and professional development. Briefly tell us about these programs, and we're also sure that you're not working alone. Probably there's a cooperation triangle somewhere. Also tell us about how this works for you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jacob. I'm doing the CEO job. Also one of the founders. We founded Gogo in 2017, and yeah, we're in e-mobility, and we all know that we are not yet our education system is not yet mass producing graduates who are specialized in e-mobility technology, whether that's lithium-ion batteries or the electric drivetrain. Obviously, we cannot wait, for someone to go abroad and come back in 5 years, with a master's in e-mobility. By the time our opportunity, our window of opportunity will have closed. So as of October 22, we were 27 people just here in Ntinda, Chigowa, 15 minutes from here. And today we are 417 people. So we have created about 400 jobs in the last 2 years. And we have trained and skilled every single person in-house ourselves, simply because we cannot wait. And we ask ourselves, how can we speed this up further? And that's why we partnered up with the German Development Corporation, GIZ, and we developed a program that we call DRIVE. Everything needs a cool acronym, so ours was DRIVE, developing relevant and innovative vocational skills for e-mobility. The E at the end is for e-mobility. And in that program, in the first round, we developed 3 curricula, a basic e-mobility operator training curricula, then one for the technicians, and one that orients more on the managerial level. And during that program, we trained more than 80 in the basic training and another 28 in the more advanced trainings. So that is a bit like training the trainers concept. And part of that is also to work with the Directorate of Industrial Training, DIT, who also accredited us now as I don't want to say the wrong word, but like a accredited training institute or something like that. And so our goal is now to really get these bits and pieces around e-mobility in the more general curriculum of education, whether that is academic or vocational, to really ensure that this know-how spreads further. And yeah, at the moment, by the end of the year, we'll have trained 120, and by April next year, 250 people. And from the 250 that we'll have trained by April, we target to get at least 20% internship placement in e-mobility companies. And yeah, the truth is, from the last batch of 80, I think we retained 25% for ourselves. Of course, the crown jewels. And yeah, that's what we're doing in the field of training and skilling and e-mobility here in Uganda. And we really believe that our job is to make sure that we do not have to wait 5 years to get a master's student, because we can't wait 5 years. We need people today. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. The keyword I picked here is that we need people today. And we're not going to go into that chicken and egg situation where we are in when it comes to buying EVs and charging stations. At least Gogo Electric, on the part of training, they have moved ahead. And we're also happy to learn that you are accredited by DIT. For the students who are here, if you're doing electrical engineering, or if you're doing any of these engineering courses, you know that with Gogo, you'll already be doing a training, which is a training from a place which is accredited. Yeah. So thank you very much. Now let's come to Dr. Brenda. Yeah. So Dr. Brenda is a lecturer at the Makerere University Business School. I am sure all of you, just like me, sometimes also ask these questions of what does a business school have to do with skilling when you're talking about energy efficiency and mobility. But we're happy that today Dr. Brenda is going to clarify some of these. So Dr. Brenda, there are a couple of gaps which exist in the market when it comes to skills for electric mobility and energy efficiency. So what specific programs would you recommend to close these gaps? That is one. And then two, we also know that you cannot do it alone. What sort of cooperation can exist between industry and government to ensure that the skills gaps industry, government, and the universities, to ensure that the skills gap are closed? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Greetings, and I'm happy to be here. And greetings from Makerere University Business School. It is really quite surprising to see business in the energy space. So this MOBS being a benchmark of research in region, undertook a research. It was a joint research with NORAD, the Norwegian government. And of course, the research understood and identified the capacity building gaps that were existing in the energy market. So different programs were developed through research, and the programs really focused on the master's and the PhD level. So the focus now from the research was on energy economics and governance, both at master's and a PhD. And of course, energy needs engineers and the technical people, but those engineers need the business, the project management, and entrepreneurship skills to write the grants, to manage these projects, and take the products to the market out there. So I am happy to report that in MOBS, our programs, both at master's and PhD, have attracted a number of enrollments, but also graduates. And also it began with lecturers. So you see that energy efficiency is multidisciplinary. So lecturers from all the different angles in climate change, statistics, accounting, I name them, they were trained through a PhD program, of course, to become experts, because we didn't have higher level lecturers who specialize on energy. So from those trainings, as part of the pioneers on the PhD, were able to travel through the partnership and benchmark from the different countries such as Norway, China, India, name them. So out of that, I'm happy to say that we have a group of experts at MOBS that are right now imparting knowledge on our students, but also undertaking research. So we are also participating in action research that we do jointly with NORAD. And also we have different events that bring out stakeholders together. We have a boot camp that we run every year, and students have been able to learn and get hands-on, but also collaborate with stakeholders. So that is really what MOBS does. And I'm happy to say that we have so many entrepreneurs out of our trainings, out of our courses, that have been able to start up, to have bankable projects and get funding. And really that is a plus for us. So it is not about, okay, speaking to the students here, you have an undergraduate course that you've done for your first bachelor's. It has given you a foundation. So you need to take your career at another level and probably specialize or be able to take add-on skills in marketing, because when you have energy efficiency projects, you need to develop them, make them bankable, but also market them and get clients. So that is what MOBS does. We give you a master's degree where you are trained with a group of experts, and we also have collaborations with Norwegian universities and others, where the experts come and collaborate, but also expose you to the new models, to new markets, and we've been able to have annual conferences where different research insights are presented. So those are the insights that MOBS has been undertaking, and we continue to grow all the time. Our courses are reviewed after 3 years, and of course we always invite stakeholders to make sure that the programs are aligned to the new market trends. So we do that, and it has been interesting that out of, I think above 40 students, both on PhD and masters, have graduated and are currently doing so well in the market and offering so many decisions. And another key important aspect is that MOBS has encouraged staff, especially those that went through the PhD in energy economics, to go further to participate in associations. That's why you see I'm serving as a general secretary under the Energy Efficiency Association, and we have many others under different umbrellas. And that way, it is like we are giving back, but also to learn and collaborate with different stakeholders that are out there. Then the other question is on what can be done, really. What we are doing is, first of all, on co-curriculum development and course reviews, we try as much as possible to research, to also you have a dialogue with stakeholders to make sure that we do course reviews that align very well with the new market trends. And then the other aspect is on professional development and certifications, like my colleague talked about. If you see the accountancy profession, our students continue to receive exemptions on SEC and CPA. So we are also trying to develop a model to see how our students who go through Masters of Energy and PhD can be able to get or receive exemptions from other energy economics professional courses. So that is really interesting. And the other collaborations we have is undertaking joint action research to inform policy, to advocate for policy. We have a lot of policy briefs that we do and partner with different ministries to find a way of how we can make impacts and not only create knowledge, but also be able in the market, working with government and so many stakeholders. So I invite all of you to check with our Department of Energy, Science and Technology and MOBS and see how you can benefit and become part of us. Thank you so much.
Good, thank you. Thank you, Doctor, for doing justice to those two questions. Now we know that professionalizing and skills development for energy efficiency and mobility is not only an engineering thing. She talked about bankability. Assessing bankability happens everywhere, whether you're doing energy efficiency project, mobility project, construction project. No one invests in a project if they don't know if it's bankable or not. So thank you for talking through those programs. So now let's come back to the engineering. We have Engineer Henry here, Engineer Henry Mpuga. Whenever I read your surname, I always feel like asking you whether you are relatives with with the most popular Mpuga. But you're also a popular person in the engineering profession. Mpuga works with UIPE as a vice president for membership, education, and training. And this is where majority of the engineers actually are, at different levels of membership. So tell us about UIPE and also some of the continuous professional development programs to ensure that the engineers and the professionals stay current with the advancements in energy efficiency and mobility.
Thank you very much. I greet you all. Good evening. UIPE, the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers, just to say it has been here since 1972. We are talking about 50 years and above, and it works through a structure. So I'm the vice president, membership, education, and training, but of course we have other committees which also do a fundamental role, like the women engineers, technicians, and technologists, to target the ladies, such that the fear to practice as an engineer goes out, and also the young engineers committee to tap the young ones who have joined the profession. Of course, today we stand at 7,583 members, including students. And most importantly, some of the benefits you could actually hear from me, the graduate training program. It's a very taxing thing where students find issues with the graduate training. Through UIPE as a membership body, we really have MOUs with the different organizations, and universities have benefited, and even the engineering associations within universities. The other opportunity, it's for the members who are already practicing. We have the output-based incentive. I'm very glad that whoever the experts we have on the panel, and even those who have presented, they qualify as long as they have the engineering background. So in this case, what happens here is that we coin your expertise and experience depending on the needs assessment, the needs skill assessment, and then we have a CPD, which is accredited by the Engineers Registration Board, the regulator. And then you, the panelists who have been here, the experts, with this kind of knowledge, you actually pay back to the community by giving some of these skills to the young engineers for continuity and sustainability. So I encourage everyone who is not yet registered with the Uganda Institution of Professional Engineers to be a member and take advantage of this. Otherwise, when you age and retire, you may not be able to be proud and leave a legacy with a lot of knowledge you exhibit and share. The other thing I wanted to say, it is that the institution depends on members. Of course, the membership and also the capacity building we do through the trainings. Like Azia has told me, talk about the CPDs. But also we write proposal papers to get grants from different partners, like the Royal Academy of UK, so, and others. And we also partner with the other global bodies which are recognized like IEEE, such that we actually benefit from their expertise and make our engineers up to date. So relating to the energy efficiency and e-mobility, UIPE, because as a membership body, we are there to serve the members. We do not coin our own things. What happens here is we send out a need skill assessment to the members every October and November. And then the members inform us of the trending skills they actually desire. Those are the skills, those are the gaps we get. We coin them into a continuous professional development with the experts. And then we forward to the Engineers Registration Board, the regulator, to certify, to accredit them, and also the, so that's how we get. So I believe even the e-mobility, I think in the our next trainings we shall have it on, because now it is a contemporary issue which we really need to take it up to empower ourselves. But on the energy efficiency, already last year we had a cry of that need skill gap, and we have the energy efficiency and climate change management on board. It's going to take place this November, the November which is coming, and then we also have the large systems energy optimization. So you can actually see that we actually move, but not only the need skill gap assessment we only have, we are also informed by what is coming. I believe you are aware that Uganda, probably we may enter the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. And when you look at Mode 3, they are saying transfer of national passions, meaning that even people from Nigeria, they can come and work in Uganda without actually any kind of hesitation. Meaning, if we are not registered and we are not regulated, we are bound to lose out on opportunities. So what is important, the first of it all, we need to encourage ourselves to be regulated and become professional engineers, registered, known by government, to be able to speak with authority, to act as consultants, and also be able to tap from other opportunities. The other thing I wanted to say, what we do, we have the Research, Innovation, and Grants Committee. I have been a lead mentor on the innovation platforms where I talk to the students. But students innovate for pride, because at the end of the day, we are lacking the innovation and the entrepreneurship integration. That ecosystem is not there. When you innovate, so what? Who takes up your innovation? So UIP, what has done, it is now creating grants, and then we are tapping those innovations. Now, the value we add as UIPE, it is to create peer review groups to feed into those innovations and upscale them to viable products, and then connect these innovators to various potential investors who can actually help them. The only thing we need just to do, as I conclude, it is an issue of developing the clarity within ourselves and develop the confidence. We have low self-esteem. We really feel as Ugandans we are not enough to do what can take us forward. But I believe if we have the clarity and develop the capacity, definitely we have the confidence. The biggest problem we have is to develop confidence without capacity. Talking too much may not lead you somewhere, but capacity. And that's what UIPE does. And the other thing, it is consistency, such that our people do not lose out on the engineering discipline. So I believe, moderator, I would like to stop here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Engineer Henry. I believe all of you have heard about those continuous professional development programs at UIPE. I will ask Engineer David, who is the overall manager of the program, that as a gift to the audience who have decided to remain until this time, we give them chance to ask a few questions. 2 or 3 questions, and then we close. Yeah, thank you. So we are going to stop with the discussions there and take 3 questions, 1 from here, 1 from the middle section, and 1 from the other section. Yes, you can mention the person to whom you're directing your questions, and please be straightforward and precise. Thank you.
Protocol observed. Good evening. My name is Tilson. I'm here from Chambogo University, apparently as the president of Automotive and Power Engineering Students Association. I have a few questions and one concern. One, let me start with the concern. All from the morning presentations, it has been unfair that there is nothing mentioned like Kyambogo. To me, it has been totally unfair, of which I would like to use this opportunity to request with the SEDAT and all the stakeholders that are available, please and please. If I'm not mistaken, Kyambogo is the only university which has automotive and power engineering bachelor's degree. If it is excluded in these things, then that means we are leaving out brilliant ideas. As association president, I have a group of people, good enough, Mr. Jacob. Let me also address this to you. I have a group of people who are willing to carry out research on electric motorcycles. Mainly, people are saying charging places are not available in villages. Can we mitigate? We get sustainable charge, non-renewable energy sources. Or can we design a system which can be able to help in self-charging? Now, these ideas are going to end up dying in my people because they have not been linked up to these associations, to these groups for help. Secondly, I would kindly request, the same way I got to know about this, it was through a friend who invited me that, hey, a president, there is an arrangement here which I would wish you come and join, you take something to your students. Now, I request, if it is possible, please, we make initiatives of framework to encourage the behavior change towards energy efficiency and practices. Many people out there, including the engineering students who are mainly in these fields, they don't know what energy efficiency is. We don't know what to deal with e-mobility. Yet, we are the pioneers who should be telling these outside peoples that this is what should be done. Lastly, I request, as we are doing, I've told you I'm an automotive engineer. In my curriculum, I've never studied anything about electric vehicles. What I study about IC engines. You ask me anything from sleep, I can air out. Diesel engines, I can air out. Ask me about EV. The only thing I may be knowing that they use lithium batteries and few things because there is some research I'm trying to do, but not supported. So I request, through these associations that are present, like SEDAT, please pave a way how we can bring in a curriculum development such that there was someone who said that there is lack of human capital development. Trust me, human capital development cannot come when someone has graduated after his 4th year. Then you tell someone is not competent about EVs, yet they have spent 4 years without studying this. And personally, I'll be very happy if the next conference is hosted at Kyambogo University. Thank you.
He seems to have exhausted the 3 questions.
Yeah, please let's be straightforward so that the others also get the chance to
One
ask the
question
questions.
each.
One question per person. Thank you, Mr. President.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Brenda Akide. I work with Energy Efficiency Association of Uganda. I would like to answer one of his questions. Kyambogo is very much part of this. The Association of Energy Engineers has a students chapter with Makerere and Kyambogo. And last week on Friday, they hosted their annual energy conference. So they are very much part of this. We have a students chapter there. You can reach out to Liz Naturinda. She's the president of the Energy Association of Students at Chambogo. So don't worry that Chambogo is left out. You are very much part of us. Thank you.
Anybody taking the last chance? Okay.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you, Brenda, for responding to that question. I think we are going to take Mr. President's questions. The ones about involvement and involved, I think has been taken note of. And then the one on stations, whether that opportunity exists, and some of the Jacob. Yes, Jacob, you can.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for your comments, and I'm sorry that you feel like you have been left out a bit. Let me just address what you were saying about your group of engineers who would love to get their hands dirty and work on e-mobility. My comment is reach out to us directly. Not a single of the 417 people working for us today has studied anything in this direction. It may be provocative to say that, but we like to say we don't hire skill. We hire motivation, because I have to motivate myself every day. I can't motivate you. You have to be self-motivated. Intelligent, you need to be able to learn something, and integrity, right? Just be an honest person, don't steal. If you bring these things to the table, you can start with us tomorrow, and I promise you in less than 2 months, we will know how to build a lithium-ion battery pack from scratch, or even put an electric motorcycle together. We are very, very much open for that, and I encourage everyone who wants to fast-track an e-mobility career, and you feel like you're motivated and smart and you have integrity, please just reach out to us. We will not ask you for a bachelor in e-mobility because we know it's not there.
Yeah. Thank you, Jacob. It seems there's one last hand here to take the last opportunity. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Protocol observed. My name is Derek Nwasa Asira. I am an agriculture engineering final student, and I have a lot of passion in energy because I feel like it's going to be a very booming sector in the next 10, 15 years. And we are currently studying for, where the light is shining brightest. So my question is going to the doctor from MOBS. I've picked interest in these master's courses, but I need to know, do they have like scholarships behind them, or they are privately sponsored? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I've been having partnership with NORAD, but the focus has been on the female. So I'm not quite sure, but we invite development partners and everyone here to come and collaborate with us. We are looking for money. We are trying to mobilize and get scholarships for all the different, but our focus has been on the female, but also the internal staff, the lecturers. So we are yet to get more funding opportunities to also extend it to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. That brings us to the end of the panel discussion. But before we go, we will take a group photo. And as we do that, let's give ourselves a big round of applause for. Yeah, that was for ourselves as a group. You can also give a big round of applause to the panelists.
Thank you for being patient up to this time. And as Ministry of Energy, we appreciate for the time you have given us to stay with us the whole day to discuss just two things: efficiency in energy consumption and utilization, as well as sustainable mobility. After this, we are going to go for a tea break, and then we will be free to visit the exhibition, and the departure will be at leisure. But before we do that, I would like to invite the Assistant Commissioner for Energy Efficiency, Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, to close our conference, and maybe to mention a few things to summarize our conference. So, welcome Engineer Simon Kalanzi to the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and thank you very much to be with us the whole day. I want to give you a recap of what you gave to us and the takeaway key points. Then we call it a day. One of the key issues that came through is limited or lack of awareness to the energy efficiency and practices and e-mobility benefits across board. So we take that up. Such a workshop is one of the awareness approaches we are taking, but we are going to do more to ensure that the science of this reaches everyone. Both the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development and the respective stakeholders we have, including the universities and the STI. Then the other bit which is coming through is the need for charging infrastructure across the country. Yes, this is known. For the electric mobility to succeed in the country, there has to be charging infrastructure, and we have moved a big step on this. We have encouraged a lot of our development partners to have their own charging infrastructure, and they have done so. I know at least the Germans, when you go to their embassies or GIZ offices, you'll find charging infrastructure and electric vehicles. We also know that Shira Motors is producing the electric vehicles and also have charging points. The Ministry of Energy and Development has installed charging points at the Ministry headquarters. We also know UNDP has done so, and they have also bought electric vehicles. Michael has even told me they are bringing more vehicles, so I was up about that. But the way forward is the ministry is going to add more charging stations in the Kampala Metropolitan. But as a catalyst to encourage the private sector to join the movement, we believe e-mobility is a business, and we should encourage the private investment to that space, such that people can make money and they can employ all of us and our children and grandchildren. So we don't want the government to be the one in it through. It's not going to be that good. I also encourage you to order for electric vehicles at our Shira plant because they are being manufactured. That's the spirit we want to move with a way forward. We want to develop a market-based e-mobility space in the country where everybody can come and do business. We have also been dealing with respective stakeholders, especially in transport, like Tondeka. Tondeka is one of those who is planning to have a fully-fledged charging infrastructure and electric buses, and we know they are collaborating with Shira Motors to that end. So there is a lot of hope that charging infrastructure will reach all the places in the country in the limited time possible. The other issue is skill development in energy efficiency and conservation, and also in e-mobility. Yes, this is noted, and there are a lot of efforts in curricular development to address those aspects or technologies in particular. And as you've noted, we are working closely with the universities to ensure that this curriculum comes through. You also don't correct that we work with the Makerere University, working with all the universities in the country. The opportunity of being at your university, yes, it will come through with the rest of the stakeholders and organizers. I think they have taken note of that. The integration of renewable energy within the e-mobility space, energy efficiency, yes. Renewable energy as applicable, especially in those areas where the grid hasn't reached. If you do the mathematics, where the grid is, it's not cost beneficial for you to go solar and all that. So whenever you are to apply it, please do the math. And here we're talking about students who are doing engineering. Please apply the engineering and be in a position to make the right decisions. Yes, minimum energy performance standards, we are having a big movement on that. And I think you had also the voices from IACRI with a big support, ensuring that these standards are even harmonized at East African level. Yes, ANERUDA came in with emphasis on measurement and records to be the basis of performance. Yes, we're taking up that. That's why we're having all our energy auditors certified. And when the law comes in place, all energy auditors have to be certified, and the industries, all high energy consumers, all those designated as energy consumers, by force or by law, will have to do energy audits in a period that will be determined. So, energy efficiency is a job space that you can take up. Standardization of charging infrastructure, yes, that's being handled under a project which is currently on running, Clean Energy Access Project funded by government of Uganda. So that is going to be taken care of. The missing legal regimes, already the act is coming into space very shortly, as explained, at Parliament. But also we welcome the research, especially by Makerere University, looking at the appropriate policies that we can add to polish the law, especially when it comes into the implementation of it. We should have applicable regulations. So if research is put to that, if it's put to research in those areas, like that we have the actual regulations that can be good for us, yes, we are moving there. The call for a national plan on energy efficiency, already a consultant is in place to develop the strategy for the next 10 years. So it will cover the energy efficiency aspects as well as e-mobility. Leveraging on climate financing and energy efficiency measures and e-mobility technologies, yes, we are going to do that. And we used to do that as a government through verification agency. But since they are back in a ministry as one unit, so all those efforts with our new unit on climate, health and safety, so those leverages, we shall be in position to have them. Application of ESCOM model, yes, especially for the small enterprises. I've already called upon Dr. Chirabira, that professor is out, to see what idea they can put together to support us in that area. Otherwise, Congress Umeu is practicing this as the high energy consumers, or medium consumption industries, but it's being practiced. And the ZANESCO, who has presented his experience when we were with us here. So we are moving forward on that. Financing gaps, at least you've had their options at UECC and banks. One representative from the Equity Bank was here. I think you heard for yourself. So we are going to push harder for these financing solutions, options to come through for us to take benefit of them. Developing bankable projects, yes. If the project is not bankable, it cannot be funded. The students, please ensure that the projects you write are bankable. And it is also not correct that the projects which are running were not bankable. People can tell you that Chira Moto, where it has reached, was a paper. It became a project. You are seeing it today. You are seeing a plan because the project was bankable. So for the students, please endeavor to learn from these which have been done. Then that you are in a position to come up with better projects. The other issue is about incentives. I think in regard to incentives, research has to be done. Before late Keith Mwakanizi died, he used to tell us that everybody is asking for tax rebates or tax relief, tax waivers. Then he would ask you that if I would give any item a tax waiver, you have to show me what that tax waiver will give, the benefit will give that I'm in a position to collect more taxes. An example, if you are saying that we should remove taxes on e-vehicles, Ministry of Finance would allow that. But would you be in position to surpass collection of taxes through the passengers who board your e-bus, whatever it is, to exceed the amount of taxes you would have collected from your electric bus? Will be efficient at that. So that's the only thing I think stopping incentives. The other bit stopping incentives is the misuse of incentives. All of us know that people have been given incentives to come up for solar panels. Let's say the solar panel was 10,000, they give a tax incentive. After 2 weeks, it's still 10,000. So that's where the challenge is. So that's the problem of incentives. So the research community, I would really ask them to give us a method that is appropriate for somebody to use incentives appropriately and have the economy run. Because there is no economy that will run without or grow without collection of taxes. So if we are to have an incentive, write a document that will convince us that your project will be in a position to collect more taxes, not to bring a loss to government. That's one of the reasons why most of the incentives are rejected. I think all of us who are writing projects, especially the engineers, put that into mind than everybody saying tax incentives, tax incentives. Let's do a research and come up with a method under which we can be in position to receive those incentives or waivers. Finally, energy efficiency and conservation, as well as e-mobility, is an employment space, which can create a lot of jobs and change our lives. So let's take advantage of that. I thank you very much to have been a very good participants to the Energy Efficiency and E-Mobility Conference 2024. I also thank our development partners who have supported us to see it through. UNDP, GIZ, the Swedish government through SNV, IMEU team, GIZ team, Makerere University, and all academia we have been working with, the supportive government institutions like Ministry of Works and Transport and the rest, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Finance, the rest of you, STI, Chira Motors, the rest of you who have been flag bearers of this movement. With those few remarks, I wish you a safe journey home. This conference has been closed. In regards to the e-mobility and energy efficiency space, the struggle continues.
It's